Hello, everyone. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Hope everyone inspired someone else. This is Wamani Iha Shambe, and I'm coming from you from Shambe's inspiration, and just want to be an inspiration for you on today. I hope everyone is doing well out there, and remember to subscribe and like my channel, and I'll appreciate it. But today I want to talk about religion as I did last week, and the wrong things in religion and the things that we have been taught what to follow and the things that we don't realize that we're following is incorrect and they're false. They're false doctrine, they're false ways of thinking. It's not really who we are as human beings, as spiritual peoples. And we have to realize who we are before we can move and do better. But until then, we're going to struggle because we follow a system that has been put in place for us to follow. In religion, in spirituality, and in every walk of life, we're part of a system. And we need to find a direction out of that system. That way that we can grow and we can develop that God in us. So this past week, I was talking to a young man. He was a Muslim. Well, I think he kind of is. I don't know. I think he still eat pork and all that stuff, from my knowledge. But no knock on him. I don't really know if he does or not. I love him. He's a family member. And we talked about religion. And when we talked about Christianity, he's like, oh yeah, oh my goodness, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. Yeah, it's terrible. It's the way they treat women. It's the way they do this, the way they do that. And I said, well, all religion. And he said, no, not Muhammad, not Islam. You need to come to Islam. It'll change you around. And I said to myself, how in the world would that religion change me and Christianity change me? How can that even, they're the same. No, they're different. No, all religions are the same. So we need to get away from religion. No. I said, well, we had a discussion. I said, how are they killing each other in the name of Allah? And he said, well, they're killing each other in the name of Jesus Christ too. And I said, that's my point. We're killing each other over religion, over books that was written by people, not by God. Oh, then he went into, well, this guy that wrote the Quran. He was in a dream and he slept, and when he writing it all down, all the people around him writing it down, when he was seeing visions and all that. I said the same thing was happening in Christianity as well. When you think about the different prophets in the Old Testament and in the New, they was having dreams and writing down different things. So I went as far as to say, okay, we're not going to get anywhere like this. This is where I said, do you believe in Abraham then? Yes, because you've got to have the 12 tribes. You got to have all these concepts. And I said, well, if you believe in Abraham, then you got to believe in Christianity as well. No, they just changed the names, but they're different persons, everything's different, but it's the same characters. I said, that proves my point. We have the same characters in every religion. We can look at Buddhists. You can look at Jesus. You can look at Muhammad. You can look at Quetzalcoatl. You can look at all these different images. They're all the same. So why not get away from them? But I said, today I'm going to look into Abraham, the father of many nations, since I think that's where everything pretty much came from, besides Adam and Eve. Because it seemed like after Adam and Eve, he was the hottest thing after that. But let's talk a little bit about him. Who was he? Where he comes from. Now, you know his dad was Terah. If you do some study on him, he was a sun worshiper. So I would imagine that Abram had to be a sun worshiper as well. Before God appeared to him and said, "Go where you just go." And he said, "Where to, God?" He said, "Well, I'll tell you when you get there. I'll tell you when you're on your way." So let's talk a little about Abraham. I ain't gonna spend a lot of time on it, but I'll talk about him a little bit from the Bible, of course, because that's the thing we can go by is the Bible, something that's written down that we can relate to with each other about. It's the Bible. It's easy for us both to follow along. Okay, so let's go to Galatians, the 4th chapter. Let's start at the 21st verse and read down to the 24th verse. All right, here we go. Now this is Paulism, of course, and that's another subject. We're going to go into Paul down the line. But let's go with this. Okay. 4:21 through 24. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law? For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons, one by a bondsman and the other by a free woman. Number 23. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was born by promise. Now this is the catch. Listen carefully. Which things are an allegory? Now, look up allegory. Let's just go there and look up allegory. And what does it mean? That's a good homework assignment for you scholars out there, you Bible scholars. And don't make no excuses, Bible scholars. Just read it like it is. Allegory is something a fictitious person. It's not real. Now let's go from there. Let's go back to let's go to where we really talk about Abram, before he's Abraham. Let's talk about his dad, which I told you Terah is his dad. And Terah was a sun worshiper. And what kind of person would Abraham had to be then? He would have to be a sun worshiper because his dad was one. Because when I was born, I didn't have a choice to be anything else. I had to be what my parents was. They was Christians. They was in the churches. They was in the COGIC. So I had to be in that. I had to follow that. For years, I had to have that concept, the Christianity way of thinking, Christ-like. I had to have that. Because that's either you have that or you don't get this or you don't get that. You don't go to church, you don't eat, you don't, that's how I was in my place. You had to go to church. You had to follow this way of thinking, this religion, this cult. And I don't knock a lot of it. I don't knock a lot of it because I appreciate it. They gave me structure. But to say that, to follow that right now, is that to be the way that I need to go, that we need to go, it is killing us. It is hurting us so bad. It is hurting our children because our children are learning these concepts, the same things we did, and they're struggling to know thyself. So we need to try to get away from these religions and try to find ourselves and try to learn how to love ourselves so our children can learn to love themselves because we're setting an example for them. So tell them the truth, not no one else's truth, not your pastor's truth, your truth, your truth, so they can know their truth, know thyself. Don't get them caught up in this Christianity or this Islam or this Buddha or this Pensacola or these different kind of ways of thinking. These are all concepts made up by the Roman Catholic Church. We got to realize that. The image of Christ was made up. Serapis, look up Serapis. These are images. These are concepts, but we don't realize that. So I just showed you that about Abraham. That's another subject. I'm sorry to get off of where I am, but I'll deal with that another day. But I'm just show different scripture, parts of the scriptures that we should be able to go to find out that a lot of these things that we're following, and a lot of these concepts we're following is totally wrong. And totally not the way that we should be doing or living. And if we get away from them, I think we will love ourselves because we can't love anyone else until we love ourselves first. Not on the outside, not for appearance, but really actually do search and learn how to love yourself. The only way you can do that is you got to know yourself. So let's go to why is Ishmael and Isaac the reason why a lot of this fighting is going on? Because you got to think about Ishmael. It's supposed to be the Arab way of seeing things. And Isaac is supposed to be the way that the Jews are seeing things. So when we read in Genesis, the 17th chapter, the 15th verse through the 19th, we see that Isaac is chosen. Then read Genesis, the 16th through the 15th to 16th, we see that Ishmael was chosen. They both were supposed to have a covenant, but it doesn't really give Ishmael his covenant. It gives it to Isaac. And we're killing each other over this covenant. But then you go to Genesis, the 22nd chapter, verses 1 and 2. And it speaks about thy only son, Isaac. And I know God knows that Abraham had two sons at that time. So maybe it's something was printed wrong, but I don't think so. And then you go to Deuteronomy, and it talks about Deuteronomy, I think around the 21st chapter and 17th verse around there. And it talks about the firstborn is supposed to get the double portion. It talks about also that Hagar, she's supposed to get what she's supposed to get, a double portion as well. If you hate it, if she's the one hated, she's supposed to get a double portion. So this is why a lot of this fighting is going on today. Because of this book. A lot of this stuff is going on today. All this killing, all this separation. And we don't realize who's suffering. Our earth, our planet, our children, because of religion. I just wanted to share that with you real quick. I can go further into it. Just subscribe, ask questions. I can give answers. I can search for you. Just subscribe and hit like on my channel. Thank you for giving me opportunity to talk to you. Thank you for blessing me with this moment. Remember that you are my inspiration. You are my therapy to be able to come to you and talk to you. So thank you. Have a good weekend. Ashe.